So today we're going to be talking about a really important topic when it comes to wilderness adventures, and that is navigation. So there's no quicker way to ruin your day to get out in the wilderness, in the backcountry, and get lost. And we're doing a series right now talking about all the different ways and tools that we have to navigate. I'm just going to go over the basics right now, high level overview of the approach I like to take when I'm preparing for a trip. And it starts out with a lot of homework up front at home. I'm going to tell you and show you the tools that I like to use to talk through my approach. We'll go through screenshots and all that. And then I'm going to show you actually my process for how I prepare for a trip. So let's jump right in and learn how I navigate in the wilderness. So first one here is a tool I like called Gaia GPS. Awesome online resource. Gaia GPS is an amazing feature-packed tool that it's a freemium deal. So you get all these features for free. And then if you want to upgrade, you get a bunch more features. I am using the free version. I haven't had a need to upgrade yet, although it's tempting all the time when I see, hey, you can get this extra map or this extra tool or whatever. Haven't bit the bullet. It'd be awesome if I could get it. But for now, I'm just on the free. So I'll show you how that works. I'm logged in here, Gaia GPS. So what I'm going to do is go to my routes. And I have created a route from Red Pine Lake Trailhead or White Pine Lake Trailhead to Pfeifferhorn past Red Pine Lake. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to recreate it. So I'm going to come up here and create a new route. And I've done a lot of homework on this, so I already know kind of where things are at, where my route is. But if you don't already know, then you're going to want to figure that out. So let's zoom right in here on, let's see, Little Cottonwood Canyon, White Pine Trailhead. This is where we're going. So some tools here. I'm going to create a route, and I'm going to stick my first spot right here. And then I'm just going to follow the trail, and it will somewhat map you to the trail. You can fine tune that. I'm not going to spend a ton of time fine tuning it right now, but you're just going to walk down the path here, and we're going to take the fork over to Red Pine around the ridge here. And if you need to move these, you can move them a bit. Like I said, I'm not too worried today about getting them exact. Just trying to show you the features here. So mapping this out with different waypoints. We're going to go past Red Pine Lake. And there happens to be a route over here that comes up to this ridge line and then right up to Pfeifferhorn, or also called Little Matterhorn. All right. So that's our route. Now I'm going to go ahead and edit some of these waypoints. So this one is called I'm just going to call it Fife Summit. And then I'm going to call this one Red Pine. I'm leaving these short, and I'll show you why in just a minute. And And let's grab this one and call this maybe. We'll call that Trailhead. Okay, now all we have to do is click save. We can choose a color, we can name it. I'm going to call it so this is Pfeiffer Horn that goes past Red Pine Lake. There's a couple ways to get up there. There's my route. And now I'm going to export this as a GPX file. So I have the route. It's saved on my Gaia GPS, and I have the Gaia GPS app on my phone. I'll show you that in a second. But what I'm going to do first is put it in a different app that I have on my phone that connects to my watch. And I have a Suunto Traverse Alpha, and I use it. It's awesome features for navigation. So I'm going to load this Gaia GPS GPX file up here, and I've actually already done that. So if I wanted to load this up, I just come here, my routes, and I would go my library, import route, and then I can just go find and grab that file, drag it in there. I've already done that right here. So it would show up just like this. This one doesn't have the waypoints that I put in, but if you put those in, it'll populate in here. And then I'm going to click this use with my watch. And then once I sync my watch, this route and the waypoints, as long as the waypoint names are less than 11 characters, that's kind of a weird thing I figured out, they'll load up into my watch. And we'll look at that next. But first I'm going to show you on my phone how these things load up and look. And so I've got on here, what I'm going to do is print a map out of my route, a topo map. So I will have a paper topo map, and I usually go to Cal Topo for that, but you can print from either of these if you've got the right membership. Cal Topo's got awesome maps though. So then I'll print that out. So I've got a paper copy. So I'll take a map and a compass with me. I'll keep that in a little Ziploc bag to keep it dry. Then I use my phone, and that's kind of my go-to if I need more than my watch has. My map is really just a backup. So let's jump over to the phone right now, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so I'm here on my phone. I've got a few apps on here. The first one I told you about down in the bottom left here is Gaia GPS. We're going to open that up. And I've already actually got it loaded here. So here is the route we just made. And it is starts down here, like I said, at the trailhead, goes up past Red Pine Lake. There's a waypoint there. And then the summit. The cool thing about this is I can navigate. I'm not at the trailhead right now, but if I click here, it'll show me where I'm at. And I can you can click this through and it will navigate you exactly where you need to go. So you can just hold this like a compass and get your bearings and follow that route until you get to the next waypoint. So that's one tool I love. This is all available offline. You can download lots of maps onto your phone so you get out in the wilderness. Even if you don't have a signal, you can use this tool as long as you've downloaded what you need beforehand. Okay, so that's my first watch tool, and I use this pretty exclusively on my phone if I need to go to my phone. The next one, I've got this Moves Count app. That'll sync up with my watch. And let's show you my watch now. Okay, so here I am with my watch. I've loaded my route into here. And so what I'm going to do is just click through to navigation, and it'll bring up routes. And then I've got 2 routes loaded right now. I'm going to load up Pfeiffer Horn, and you can view the route. There's my route. or you can navigate on the route. So we want to go forward up the trail. Let's call it hiking today. And then it'll load us in. And it's not going to show me exactly because I'm really far away from it. But what I'm going to see here is myself, that arrow, and the trail. And once I'm on the trail, as I turn this, you can see I turn. So it's going to point where I need to go. So the other view is just, it'll always point me forward in relation, just like on Gaia GPS, in relation to the trail. It'll just show me where I need to go. So as I walk, I can make sure that I'm lined up with my route. This is an awesome feature. Also, another feature this has is once I'm done, if I end up getting way off trail and lose my way, I can just click back to, there's a feature in here that's backtrack basically. It'll cook breadcrumbs. It'll get me back to my car. It'll just show me the route that I came in, and I can follow that exactly back out. So as far as navigation goes, I keep my watch up on navigate mode if I'm unsure of where I'm going, if there's forks in the trail or whatever. It's going to be very helpful in showing me where I end up. But those are my three basic tools. Put it on my watch, put it on my phone, and then a hard copy map. Redundancy there. So those are my basic navigation tools. I like to use my watch, have it on my phone, and then I have a backup hard copy map and compass if I need it. Redundancy across the board. Don't want to get caught without any of these electronic things. They're unreliable. If you spend a week out in the backcountry, your batteries are going to die or whatever. You need to have a map as well. And I like to give a hard copy map to every person in the group and make sure they know how to use it and that they've all done the research up front too. Because here's what ends up happening. In today's world, we get so reliant on our GPS technology that you don't do the homework up front. And you end up getting out there and you don't really know where you're at. You just say, okay, I'm going to follow my route and I don't need to worry about the rest of it. That's a very bad mistake, because once you get out there, oftentimes what happens is if you get disoriented at all or you get separated from your group and you don't know what peaks are where, you don't know where the river flows, you don't know all the terrain and the features, then you have a really hard time navigating without the tools that we rely on. But if you studied the map out front and you come prepared and you know the terrain, it's really easy to figure out where you're going, especially in like here in the Wasatch Mountains. The Wasatch Mountains are really easy to navigate because pretty much you just go downhill and you get to the bottom of the canyon and there'll be a road there. But not always. If you know the terrain, then you won't get cliffed out because you'll know there's a cliff band running along the side of the canyon, or that if you go down, you'll end up at the lake, but then which drainage do you go down? There's a lot of things that if you study the map out beforehand and understand exactly where you're at, where you're headed, and what bailout features are in the terrain, you'll be safer. So a lot of navigation really comes down to doing your homework up front. Understanding the route. Where are the forks in the trail? Do you need to go left? Do you need to go right? Also, as you're hiking, making mental notes of where you're going. So I like to look backward as I hike at certain features. So if I get to a fork in the road, I'll look back and make sure that I can pick out a landmark on either side of that fork. So when I come back to it, it's really easy for me to say, oh yeah, go left by the dead tree. That's where I came from. Those are some tools that I like to add to my bag, not just relying on my GPS. It's a big mistake a lot of people do. It's very convenient. It's very accurate. Yes, but if you get caught without it, you're going to be in trouble. So that's the basics of my navigation toolkit. We're going to go through a lot of details, how I use a map and compass, skills that will help you be able to use that effectively. We'll also go through some navigating using natural features. How do you navigate in a snowfield? How do you navigate when it's dark out? How to use the sun, how to use different weather features or natural features to navigate on your own. We'll also go through trail features. People build blazes and cairns and things like that because there's no reason that you should get lost. There's so many tools available. You just have to educate yourselves so that you're ready and prepared when the time comes. So that's basically what we're going to talk about today. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to our tribe here on YouTube, and also come over to our webpage to learn more about all sorts of adventure skills and tips and tricks. Our webpage is at myadventureschool.com, all one word, and you'll find tons of resources there. We'd love to have you join our group and on Facebook or anything else. But most importantly, just get out there and adventure and stay safe. Until next time, we'll catch you around.